Joe, come on down. I feel like the Price is Right music is required. Anyone remember that? Yes? Okay, good, thank you. The Price is Right. It's a show that should come back, shouldn't it? No. With grocery prices going through the roof, it'd be like, figure that, how much is this? No, $2. No, it's $9. Okay, all right. Thank you, guys. And thank you for agreeing to do this. I believe it shows some level of trust in me, so I'm going to take that and run with it. No, so I have given Joe and Ian a series of questions. I won't ask those questions. No, I'm not. I will ask some of those questions, important ones and so on that are on there, but I'm also going to ask some other ones, so don't panic too much. But the first one is not one that I've prepped you with, and it's a simple one, but steak, how should it be had?
Medium rare.
Medium rare, okay.
I'm the same, medium rare.
Medium rare, okay, there you go. And I am too. So what amazing variety we have in our pastas here.
Can I just say, look at the unity in the pastoral team.
In the clothing as well?
Black shirts, blue denim. We're on song.
Speaking of which, a weird little fact. When's your birthday?
2nd of February.
When's your birthday?
5th of February.
And my birthday, 11th of February. Sorry? There we go. Would you like to join the pastoral team, Ben? Apparently you've got to be in the start of February, so you qualify. No, fantastic. No, true. I did have a question in here that related to colour, but I'm actually going to throw it and change it and say, I would like you to, if you can, use a colour to describe how you are feeling right now.
Teal. I'm feeling calm and peaceful.
Oh, fantastic. It's not red, right? No.
It's not red, no. Yeah, yellow, happy. Yeah, that's good. Thanks, Joe. I was going to say blue because that's my favourite colour, but it's got other connotations.
It does, it does. Okay. Well, thank you both for those things. And I do actually want to get on to some deeper type of questions. But before we kind of get there, I think it's fair enough to kind of actually just have a little bit of an introduction to both of you. So if both of you would like to take it in terms of basically just providing maybe a 3 to 4 minute introduction of yourselves. So a bit of info, but not too much. Or 3 minutes.
So my name's Ian, in case you haven't worked that out yet. I was born many years ago in Cogra in Sydney, lived in Janali for a few years, then moved to Charlestown, then grew up in a place called Kalungaluk, moved back to Newcastle, and then our family found ourselves here. And over the course of time, I met and fell in love with Debbie. Debbie has not been able to say her name tonight. She's been calling herself all other names. And we've got 2 kids and 3 grandkids. They go to various churches, and we just love being back here. Got to say, this morning it was just so special. Part because it was Joe's service, but just the atmosphere in the service this morning was really good.
Fantastic. Before you speak, Joe, sorry, guess what? Guess where I was born too? Cogra. That's right. Please, you weren't born in Cogra though, were you? Oh, no, okay. Sorry, Joe, go for it.
Yep. So I'm Joe. I was born in Wollongong, a bit further south. Grew up down on the south coast in Albion Park. I went to Wollongong Uni and became a primary teacher. Taught down there for a little bit, and then God laid in my heart mission. So I did a few short trips, but then ended up in Egypt for a couple of years, serving there. Then I went to Bible college, met my husband at Bible college. I am one of those statistics. And so we got married, and we have 4 kids. Micah, who is 6, Ezra 4, Amani 2, and Malachi, who's 10 and a half months. If you were here this morning, you have got introduced to Ezra's personality. Bundle of fun, lots of energy. And now I'm here at Cardiff and loving it so far.
Great, thank you. Night or morning person?
I used to be a morning person, and then now nights are kind of special because the kids go to bed at 7 and it's Tim and I's only time together without interruption. But nights also are limited because we're up all through the night, and 5:30 our kids are all up ready for breakfast. And so I'm forced to be a morning person as well. So I'm a bit of both.
Okay.
But not as in like 10 past 10. Can't do past 10 at the moment.
I used to be a night person. I nursed for 30 years, so I did a lot of shift work. Came back from our honeymoon and went on to permanent night work for 3 months. So I was a real night person. But now I'm very much a morning person. If I'm still asleep at 4 a.m, it's been a good night.
Right. I imagine those first 3 months on night shift. Debbie, were you having any questions of going, did I make the right call here? Like, surely that would have been, you would have been struggling, like perhaps not at your best in your first 3 months of just being tired all the time.
I don't know that I've ever been at my best, but yeah.
Oh. Anyway, it was marital bliss, no doubt. No. Yes.
It's not something I would recommend to any young people out there about to get married. I wouldn't recommend permanent night work.
Yeah. Okay, well, going from something that might be stressful to a different kind of question, how do you guys each relax? What do you do to enjoy yourself, like to have a nice time?
I'm pretty boring. TV's a good wind down for me. Going for a walk. Mowing the lawn, I've always found relaxing.
What was that? There was a yes, John.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, it is.
Mowing the lawn, yeah.
Mowing the lawn, you go out there and never once has Debbie been able to come and disturb me while I've been mowing the lawn. But now the lawn in our house is about the size of that blue carpet down there, so it's only 5 minutes.
Okay. Oh yeah, if you want to do the back.
We live in Maryland, so our kids will follow you around with their toy ones.
I knew I was going to get that response.
And Joe, how do you like to relax?
I'm a bit of an outdoors person, so our family love camping, and so when we can find the time, going camping, going to the beach. If it's winter, having a bath with some music with the door locked so the kids can't find me. Otherwise, they just want to party too. Yeah, so just anything outdoors, going for a walk, having a swim,
Okay,
things like that.
fantastic. Next question is going to be a longer one, no doubt for both of you, but how did you come to faith? What's your story of coming to faith? You know, type of family you grew up in, you know, where you heard the gospel, you know, those kind of things.
I was born into a family where we were in church from the day we came home from hospital, basically. I've got a mixed church background. Mum and Dad started out exclusive Brethren. Then they went Brethren, then they went Baptist, then we moved up to Kalungalook, and it was High Church of England was the only church available. Back to Newcastle, Charlestown Baptist, and then here at Cardiff Heights, then Macquarie and back here. So I was always in church and always had an awareness of God. And I remember on more than one occasion standing, not in this church, but in other churches and at youth conventions at Tarlu Bible College, standing there, white knuckles gripping the seat in front of me as the speaker gave the altar call for salvation and saying, I'm not going out there. And that went on and off for quite a few years. And then I guess in some attempt to get away from mum and dad and church and all the rest of it, it was probably my teenage years rebellion. When I left school, I joined the Royal Australian Navy. I was posted on to a ship called HMAS Marimba. And I remember one weekend leave, I went and stayed with my brother and his wife. They happened to be pastoring Lakemba Baptist at the time. And they obviously went to church for the night service, and I had to go. I got dragged along. And I remember John preached a message. It's from Hebrews. It's in the first or second chapter. There's a verse that says, how shall you escape if you neglect such great salvation? And it was on the 3rd of September. I remember that because that was my mum's birthday. And I remember thinking, I can't resist this any longer. So that was when I became a Christian. That was followed over the years by lots of ups and downs, and sometimes I was close to God and other times I wasn't. I remember years ago, our family all came to this church, and one of my sisters, Anne, was coming here at the time. And I remember walking in through the doors one Sunday and everyone was happy and smiling and laughing and talking. And I just thought, what have they got to be happy about? They're in church. Why are they happy? You probably get that sense if you walk into a lot of other churches too.
Yeah.
Anyhow, I rang Anne up and we had a good chat about that. And that, I think that I've heard that there's 3 phases of salvation. So I think that was my second step to a closer relationship with God. And then the third step was we'd left here and we were going to Macquarie. Look, at the time it was called Macquarie Hills Christian Life Centre, I think, Debbie, something like that. And I remember being in a service one night and I can't remember what was said, I can't remember who was preaching. All I remember was that I just broke down in tears and I just sobbed and sobbed and sobbed and sobbed. And I think that was sort of the third part of the journey to salvation, of really becoming an honest and earnest Christian. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing all of that,
Yeah.
Ian. And you're right. Like it's a journey, and particularly if you've grown up in a Christian home like that, then it's often these steps, and it can be harder to kind of pinpoint the moments. But you're able to pin some of those moments.
The thing I found difficult was because I was always in a Christian family, Christian environment, Christian upbringing. There was no real change in my life.
Yeah.
Before I was a Christian, I went to church on a Sunday, in Sunday school, and Christian endeavour and youth and all the rest of it. When I became a Christian, I went to church and Sunday school and Christian endeavour and youth and all those things. So that was one of my difficulties.
Okay. All right. But Joe, your story's different because you grew up in a non-Christian family like myself. What's your story?
Yeah, so I grew up in a non-Christian home. I never went to church. I have no memory of going to church for anything really before I came to faith. I imagine I had scripture in school. I went to a public school, and so public primary and high school. I was 17 when I gave my life to Christ, so year 12, and I had a really close friend who became a Christian about 6 months before I did, and at that time our friendship circle changed and we suddenly filtered into the Christian circle of the group at the time, and it was quite a large group of friends. And they kept inviting me along to church and to youth group, but I was a swimmer growing up, and so Friday nights was swimming club night, and so me getting along to youth group or to church it just didn't happen. I never committed to going. It wasn't important to me to do, and so I kept saying no. And I think it was also daunting to come into a church building when I'd never been there before, the unknown of what to expect. And so one week, though, they invited me to an event at the basketball stadium in Wollongong called Harvest. And it ticked one box because it wasn't in the church. So I decided to go along to that event. And I remember very clearly sitting, I call it the nosebleed section, at the very top of that stadium, sitting up there hearing someone share about what Christ has done for us. And I think for me that was the first time perhaps that it all clicked and it all made sense. And I'm sure my friends, when our group changed, they were all praying for me and all those things that you know as a Christian you do, but at the time you don't realise. And I can remember sitting there, my heart was thumping. I can remember feeling like all my friends' eyes were on me, waiting to see what I was going to do. And like Ian, I was sitting there thinking, I'm not going down the front, I'm not doing this. But the intensity of my heart beating got too much that I literally jumped out of my seat and ran down without telling any of my friends what I was doing, and ran down to the front, and I gave my life to Christ that night. And it wasn't received so well at home with my family. It was quite hard actually for the first, I don't know, good little while. But they could see a change in me that was a positive change. But I think because I started then wanting to go along to church each week and youth group each week, I suddenly became corrupted by the church. I was in a cult. And because they had no understanding of what church was like, that it was a family, they didn't understand what I was feeling and experiencing. And so for them, it was something that foreign, something they couldn't understand. And still to this day, my mum has become a Christian since, but they probably still don't fully understand everything that I do and the choices that I make. And so it's part of my journey.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing, both of you sharing. Out of curiosity, I'm sure both of their stories had some level of similarity with your own story, whether you've come from a Christian family or non-Christian family, or whether it was a moment or kind of a number of gradual steps. Hands in the air if you found similarities with Ian's story there. Yeah? And hands down. I mean, you could put your hand up for both, by the way. Or hands in the air for Joe's story. Any similarities there? Yep. Fantastic. There we go. Perhaps you might share part of your own story with them later about that. Okay, we're going to get to our first kind of break, and we're actually going to have communion then. But before we get there, I want to do one of the first worship songs. So, I mean, we had the songs before, but I've asked them both for a song this evening that means something to them. So we will do one of those songs now before we have communion, and then we'll do the second one of those at the end of the second part of the interview. So who should we go first? Oh, Joe, you've been voluntold by Ian. So Joe, what's the song that you have picked and why? And then Andrew will put it on the screen. We'll move down so we can all actually sing it.
So I'm someone that I really love listening to music, and music kind of helps me through different things in my life. And so I've got lots of songs because I find that whatever season I'm in, there's a song that kind of speaks, and then I play it on repeat a lot because it's just something that fills you with calm if you're stressed, or it fills you with peace if you're feeling anxious about something. And so, so there's lots of songs, but I've chosen Build My Life. And it kind of talks about God being our foundation. And one of I just wrote out one of the words from it. It says, "Show me who you are and fill me with your heart, and lead me in your love to those around me. I will build my life upon your love. It is a firm foundation. I will put my trust in you alone and not be shaken." And I just really like that that God is the one that leads us to the people around us, and He is the foundation in our lives that we can step out and trust.
Fantastic. Thank you for sharing that.